Hey guys, so this is the second part of the busting of 9 financial myths to your financial freedom. This is the second step to your financial freedom by Tony Robbins' good book, Master the Game, Money Master the Game. And today we're going to talk about the last 4 steps. I covered the first 5 in my first video. If you missed it, go back to my first video and check it out. The last 4, actually before going to the last 4, I'm going to go and recap on the first 5. The first 5 we talked about mutual funds and index funds and how mutual funds are better than index funds. Why? Because index funds are better than mutual funds. Why? Because mutual funds, they've been proven, according to history, 96% of the time, they don't actually beat the market over any sustained period of time. And that is proven. That's not just like some fact, it's a proven fact. And low-cost index funds, they mimic the market, so they hardly lose. And when you're investing in an index fund, you're diversifying your portfolio, you're investing in different stocks, and you're investing in the top 500 stocks in America. Right? Of the companies, of the best performing companies in America. So, low-cost index fund investment is much better than a mutual fund investment. Secondly, the fees. Mutual funds, they charge you fees up to 3.1 to 3.5%, which when you do the maths is about 35% of your own profits. And when it comes to compounding, that can have a massive effect on your compounding effect on accumulating wealth, over a long period of time. It can butcher your profits literally and reduce your investment by more than, reduce by 3 or 4 folds probably. Whereas a low-cost index fund, it only costs you about 1.25% of your profit, which is not much, and it's also a better investment, less risk, and the same returns, right? We also talked about a broker and an independent financial advisor. A broker, why you should choose an independent financial advisor as opposed to a broker, because a broker works for a firm who will give you investment options that are suitable for his firm first and then suitable for you. So he's not really serving your best self-interest, where an independent financial advisor is obligated by law to give you conflict-free advice that will serve your best interest and help you to invest your money in the best option available, right? So always seek a financial advisor, because he will show you and he will give you basically all the fees that incur in the investment without any hidden costs or any of that stuff, right? And we also talked about the 401k plans, and we talked about the rate of returns as well, and how the advertised market rate of returns actually is different than the real rate of returns when you do the maths. And I've busted that myth, and I gave you a mathematical example that shows how that basically advertising market technique covers what the real rate of return is when the market fluctuates. So you can go back to my first video and watch that. The 5th one is the 401k plan, the Roth 401k plan, and we talked about how the retirement plans, not all of them are good, some of them are, but the ones that invest in mutual funds, again, are not the best option you can take, because, as we said, 96% of the time, mutual funds do not beat the market over any sustained period of time. So you want to choose low-cost index funds, retirement plans, and you also want to invest in Roth 401k plans, which are tax deductible. So the money is tax-free when it goes into your account, so you can withdraw the money, it's all tax-free. Whereas a 401k plan, it's tax-deferred, which means that you put the money, but it's taxed when you want to withdraw it when you retire. So now we're going to talk about the 6th of the 9 financial myths, and that's target date funds. Just set it and forget it. And I don't know which is the definition. I will read the definition from Tony Robbins' book, just to make it more clear for you. So the pitch goes like this. Just pick the date year in which you will retire, and we will allocate your portfolio accordingly. The closer you get to your retirement, the more conservative the portfolio will become. It's basically an investment fund where a certain investor or a manager basically invests your money. He allocates he does all the asset allocations, invest your money in different assets to make more money for you. And once you retire, you can withdraw all that money with the gains you make. Now, the problem with the target date funds is that they don't, is that the active manager who manages the money, he basically invests it in a lot of mutual funds. And mutual funds, as we said, 96% of the time, they don't beat the market. And they also always advertise and market to you that with time, they will, as you reach the age of retirement, you don't want to invest in more risky options. So they will put your investment in less risky options and therefore put it in bonds as opposed to stocks, because stocks are more risky than bonds, right? And he does all the asset allocation for you. Now, the problem with the target date funds is that they do all the asset allocation for you, and which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing if you don't know about investment. The problem is that the asset allocation model they use is for their best interest, right? So it's like going back to the principle of a broker, that he's going to invest money for the best interest of his firm, for the interest of his firm, so that the maximum money that he can make So it's a suitable investment for his firm first and then for you. So it's not always for your best interest and your best benefit. And it's difficult to trust someone to just do all the asset allocation for you and to serve your best interest, because most of the time they're looking to make money as well. So they're only choosing suitable investments, something that suits both of you, and not for your best self-interest. So instead, you don't have to go with target date funds, but educate yourself about asset allocation, which I will talk about in chapter 5. And Tony Robbins is going to talk about it in chapter 5. So you don't have to become like the average person, the average investor who knows nothing about investment and just wants someone to handle everything for him, and not know that this someone is actually taking a lot of their money, and where they can earn $1 million when they retire, now they're only earning $500,000 just because they lack the knowledge in investment. So you don't have to get into target date funds. You can find some cheap ones. I think low cost index target date funds. But generally, a better thing to do is to do your own asset allocation, because it doesn't take a lot of time and it's very easy and very simple to learn, to know about and learn. So I'll talk more about that in the next chapter, right? So the 7th of the 9 financial myths: I hate annuities and you should too. So what are annuities? Annuities are basically financial products that are mostly served by insurance companies. And what it is basically is that you give a lump sum, or you give part of your income to an insurance company, and they will take the money, they will invest it for you, and when you reach the age of retirement, basically they will give you regular income until you die, until you outlive your investment. So basically it's a way where you can guarantee a regular income when you retire and just be stress-free, not thinking about money. Okay? Now there is not all annuities are bad, and they have this sort of like reputation in the investment world that all annuities are bad and you shouldn't invest in them. And the reason is because most of the people giving you this advice are brokers, and these guys want you to invest in their products and not in annuities. So there's different annuities, and you can choose. There's the good ones and there's the bad ones. The good ones that you can choose, or you should look for, are the ones that give you principal protection. So the ones that will protect your downside. So no matter what happens in the market, if it goes up, goes down, recession 2008, it doesn't matter, you get all your money back. At the same time, you get to participate in the upside. So you don't get all the return on your investment, but you get a part of it. However, you do protect your downside, which is the most important thing, right? There's variable annuities, which are basically annuities that are invested in mutual funds, and these are the ones you should avoid, because as I said, mutual funds, they don't beat the market. And on top of you paying fees for the mutual funds, you're going to pay an extra fee for the annuity itself. So instead of paying 3.1% for the mutual fund, as we discussed in my previous video in the series, you're going to pay an extra 1% fee, so that becomes 4.1%, and that is going to butcher your profit and your compounding effect when you're trying to accumulate wealth for a long period of time, right? So you should avoid invariable annuities, and you should stick with more. It's not a rule, but you can stick with fixed index annuities, and these are a better option because they first protect your principal, your downside, so they give you 100% principal protection, and they invest, I think, your money in low-cost index funds. I'm going to talk about these annuities in the next section, next chapter, sorry, in the next financial myth, and talk more about them. Right. So. The 8th financial myth: you gotta take a huge risk to get big rewards, asymmetric risk-reward investment. And this is, a big misconception in the investment world, that you have to take huge risks to get big rewards. If you don't take risks, you're not gonna get rewards. And that's not true. Sometimes it's true, to some extent it is, but it's not always true. You can find investment that gives asymmetric risk-reward investment. And what does asymmetric risk-reward investment mean? It means that you risk just a little bit to get huge reward, alright? And the way you do that is by getting into investment that gives you 100% principal protection, which means that you 100% protect your downside. If the market goes down, you get all your money back. And you get to participate in the upside. So you get to participate in the gains. If the market goes up by 10%, you get like 8 or 7%. So you're making money when the market goes up, and you get your money back when the market goes down. You will never lose. You will just not lose. And that's the #1 rule that Warren Buffett actually talks about, is do not lose money. And that's what all these 0.001 investors do, is that they don't care how much they win, they just don't want to lose any money. So always look for asymmetric risk-reward investments. I'll give you an example of an asymmetric risk-reward which is mentioned in Tony Robbins' book, and it's about Richard Branson, the CEO of Virgin Airways. I read his biography a while ago. I think it's called The Virgin's Airway. It's an amazing book about him and how he created this massive Virgin Media and Virgin Airway and this amazing brand. And basically what happened is when Richard wanted to open Virgin Airways, he had all this money he accumulated from Virgin Media and from his other ventures, and he wanted to invest all of it into Virgin Airways. But it was a big risk for him because British Airways was his main one competition, and they were very established in that industry, and so he didn't know if he could basically be able to beat them at their own game, basically. So he wanted to protect his downside, and he protected his downside by negotiating a deal with the people who sold him the airplanes to start his business. So he bought 5 planes. He negotiated a deal that if it didn't work, he can give these 5 planes back, and he can get his money back. So he got a money back guarantee. He would take the 5 planes, invest all his money that he have, all the capital. If it didn't work out, gets his money back. If it did, great. And yeah, it did, and the rest is history. So yeah, you're always looking for investments that will always give you a money back guarantee, principal protection. And there's 3 different investments that will give you that option that Tony Robbins talks about in his book, and I will just read them for you from his book. And first are structured notes. So what are structured notes? Structured notes basically are bank loans. Basically it's a loan you give to the bank, and the bank will take your money, you'll invest it, and it will give you 100% principal protection. So it will give you 100% protection if the market goes down. If the investment if the market goes down, your investment is lost, it'll give you your money back. So 100% principal protection, and also gives you a part or a sum of the upside, a chunk of the upside. So if the market goes up by 8 or 10%, you probably get to keep 5%, right? So you participate in the upside and the gains, and you don't participate in the losses. So you get sort of like a money back guarantee, and it's a very great deal because you don't take any risk and you get huge rewards. So that's the first one, structured notes. The second one is market-linked CDs, and normal traditional CDs are basically very, very conservative investments that will give you very small return on investment, like 0.23%. So if you invest $1,000, you get like a $2.30 back on your investment, and that's just very, very low. Market-linked CDs, what they do is that they give you a guarantee on, give you principal protection, so they give you a guarantee, 100% guarantee, you don't lose your money if the market goes down. And at the same time, you get, it's just similar to the structured notes, you get to participate in the upside as well. So you get to, to participate maybe 5% in the upside, 5% in the gains. What that does is that it increases your return on investment from 0.23, a very small amount, to 5%, and that's more than 10 to 20 folds. So that's another example of another way or another investment option you can choose that gives you a asymmetric risk-reward option. The last one as well that I talked about is fixed index annuities. Fixed index annuities, the good thing about them is that they give you 100% principal protection, so guaranteed by the insurance company, and you get the upside without the downside. So you get to participate in part of the upside without the downside, and last importantly, they offer the ability to create an income stream that you can't outlive. So they ensure that you're going to get money until you die after retirement. And they both these 3 investments, they kind of have the same sort of properties, where you have principal protection on the downside, you don't lose any money when the market goes down, and you get to participate in the upside. So these are great ways you can get involved in asymmetric risk-reward investments. So the last financial myth, the lies we tell ourselves. And basically this is more to do with psychology of success than strategies or tools, and that's Tony Robbins' area of expertise. He talked about this in his seminar that I've attended, Unleash the Power Within, 4 months ago, and he talks about it in his book, and that's what I'm going to share with you right now. And what he talks about basically is about breakthroughs. What are breakthroughs and how do they happen? So I'll read you a snippet of a definition in his book. And he says, a breakthrough is a moment in time when the impossible becomes possible, when you don't just talk about something, but you finally take massive action and do whatever it takes to make it happen. That's the point in time where you just had enough, you're like, that's it, I'm done, I'm going to open my own business, quit this job, divorce, get out of this relationship. It's like, I quit, let's begin, let's do this, right? So that's when a breakthrough happens. And it really happens when you just had enough. You can't take your current life anymore, and you want to make a massive change in your life. And for a breakthrough to happen, as Tony Robbins described, he thinks that there's 3 drivers or 3 motivating forces behind a breakthrough. The first one is having the right strategy. The second is the power of your story, and the third is having the right state. So we'll go with the first one, the right strategy. Having the right strategy is not very difficult to have, or to adapt the right strategies or tools is for you to adapt the right strategy is all you have to do is basically to look at the best people that they have done what you want to achieve, and just mimic and do the same things that they have done. Basically, take the same path they have taken, because they've done it all. They've done all the mistakes. All you have to do is basically learn from all the mistakes they've done, avoid them, and take the same path they've took. So learn from the best, basically. Look at someone who's not 1 time better than you, 2 times better than you, 3 times better than you. No, he's like 100 times better than you. Someone who's 10 times better than you, 15 times better than you. Take his strategies, take his tools, and use it for yourself. And these are people who have proven track records of success. So why not mimic? Why not use the same tools that they're using to reach your success and your whatever dreams and goals you have set for yourself. Second one is having the right story, and that's very important, and that's why a lot of people are disempowered and they don't take action, they don't take massive action to change their lives, and that is not having the right story. You know, the only thing that stops you from doing the things you want to do in life is the bullshit story you tell yourself of why you can't do it. I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, my kids, my accent, where I'm from, the area I live in, my job is this is stressful, but my mom is this, my dad is this. You're always blaming everyone else but yourself. You're always blaming the money, the time, whatever it is. And when you blame the environment, when you blame everything else but yourself, you sort of losing the responsibility and losing the accountability. It's like, I'm not responsible for this. It's the money, it's the time, it's my parents, it's this, it's that. You're never taking responsibility for yourself and saying, no, I'm responsible for my finances, I'm responsible for my relationships, I'm responsible for my life. Therefore, I'm going to make a change, and I'm gonna do something to change my state and change the way I'm living, right? So when you take full responsibility of everything in your life, that's when big changes happen. But if you just blame everything else, you're basically losing all that power, all that control over your life, and you're giving that control to everything else but to yourself, right? So that's the story. That's the power of the story. Another thing about like power of stories is basically, you have to always think, it's not a must, it's not a rule, but always try to think of things from a very positive way. So, for example, he talks about stress and how some people think that stress can kill them. And when you come from that mental or that mind frame, what happens is that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when you say stress is going to kill you, guess what? It is going to kill you. It is going to give you all that heart disease and the things that you don't want. But because you think it is going to do that, you sort of attract that quality to your life. So that's a very negative story that you should divorce. Instead, you can say, you know what, I can use that stress to motivate me and drive me to take massive action and change my life. Okay, so you can change that story, that wording, that difference in wording is what makes the big difference, right? And that's a recent change I've made in my life, is that, sometimes I feel stressed, I'm not on my schedule, I'm not doing the things I want to do, and sometimes it's just hard to, keep up with everything, but that stress is what drives me. I'm like, oh, that's great, I haven't finished what I'm supposed to finish, so, that means, I'm driven to finish it. Now I have more, motivation behind it, more pain to motivate me behind it, and it's always positive. It's never negative. It's not like it's anxious or it's a very anxious or stressed, but it's more like a positive driver, a positive motivator for me to take massive action and change my life and improve and become a better version of myself. So you can use your story to empower you, or you can use it to disempower you. So choose the right story. Change your story, change your life, divorce your story of limitation and marry the truth. You can make anything happen. And that is very true, because you can make anything happen. You can make $1 million, you can get into the best business deal, you can make money of your passion, whatever it is, but you have to have a really good story behind it. You have to always empower yourself with a very powerful story. The third one, the third driver or motivator to breakthroughs, that create breakthroughs, is the right state, being in the right state, and that's my personal favorite. Being in the right state is very important, because if you're not in the right state, you're going to go in deals, you're going to go in business deals, in any situation in life, you're going to go just half-assed. You're never going to go fully committed, certain, grounded, and just give it 100% of your abilities. You're just going to go like, yeah, whatever, I don't feel like it. So the best thing for you to do is to actually change your state. And to change your state, you need to engage in your physiology, right? Because motion causes emotion, right? Motion leads to emotion. And that's what I do every morning. When I wake up, I always have a ritual where I do some incantations. I engage my body, I engage my physiology, I do some of these gestures just to put myself in a very good state where I'm really certain, I'm more grounded and centered in my own energy, and then I can just, transfer that state to others when I talk and communicate. So, just being in that empowered state can put you in a very good mood, to take massive action toward your dreams, and your goals. Because let me tell you something, motivation is not everlasting. You can watch a YouTube video 4 minutes and it's like, yeah, do this and all these great speeches, and it motivates you, but it's never lasting, it feels good for a day, next day you wake up, you're like, yeah, whatever, right? So you have to always keep motivating yourself and put yourself in a peak state all the time. And you can do this by having a ritual that you do every day, like I do. Wake up in the morning and engage your physiology. You can go and take a run, take a walk, just move your body. The more you move your body, your body is full of like thousands of muscles. Just moving your body, engaging your physiology, it just makes a massive shift in your mental abilities, in your focus, in your certainty, in your state in general. When you're in a good state, you can find the right strategies, and you can also adapt the right stories, and you can also bring in the more empowered stories in your life and discard the negative ones. So these are the three motivators or forces behind breakthroughs. And as Tony Robbins describes them, and maybe when you had a breakthrough in your life at a very subtle or subconscious level, you've went through all these stages before the breakthrough. And breakthroughs, they happen in seconds. They don't happen. People might say, "Oh, it took me 10 years to change." It didn't take you 10 years to change. It's the 10 years that accumulated stress, that pain, that you got to a point, the tipping point, and you said, "You know what? That's it." And at that moment, when you make that decision to change your life, that's when a breakthrough happened. That's when you said, "That's it. I'm done. I'm going to change. I'm going to do something different," right? So that's when a breakthrough happened. And I had 2 breakthroughs in my life, and I'm very grateful for these experiences, because they helped me to grow beyond my limits and get out of my comfort zone and just contribute and take massive action to reach my goals and aspirations. And yeah, that's basically it for today's topic. I hope you liked this video. Stay tuned for the next video of the series, where I think we're going to talk about asset allocation. I'm not sure if it's asset allocation or if it's another topic, but basically asset allocation is a very important topic, because by just knowing that information, you are differentiating yourself from the average investor, the average person who doesn't know all about all this stuff, and instead just gives all this money to a broker, or to, as we discussed, a target date fund, where they just do the asset allocation for you, and you don't know if that's going to maximize your benefits, maximize your profits. Because most of these investors, they care more about their firms, they care more about making money for their firms and their products or themselves, more than they care about your best self-interest, right? So you've got to be an insider. You've got to know how to allocate your assets, how to put your assets in different buckets so they can make more money from you. At the same time, get an asymmetric risk-reward investments. So you don't put a lot of risk, but you get a lot of reward. You can protect your principal protection downside, and you can still participate in the upside. We're going to talk about this in the next chapter. I'm not sure if it's asset allocation, but if it's not, then it's going to be a really great topic. Subscribe to this channel, like it, share with your friends if you found it helpful, or to anyone who you think might find it helpful. And yeah, stay tuned for the next video of the series, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.